Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the Pleb Underground, the signal without the slop. I am your host, Phil. Let's dive into the stories we are going to be looking at today. So we're going to kick it off with some Hopium. That's right. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin hash rate. There's also this circulating post about the high IQ Bitcoin guy, and we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at some stateside gaslighting. Right? There's some strange stuff coming out of New York. We'll take a look at that. Paper Summer Bitcoin, guys. That's right. It never ends. Saw some news about this company Amundi and how much Bitcoin they hold and supposedly a recent purchase. Anyways, we're going to dive into that. We're also going to take a look at some SEC and CFTC joining forces, right? There's some comments coming out of Paul Atkins, the SEC chair. We have a strategic Bitcoin reserve update. Not at the federal level, at the state level. We will take a look at that as well. If any of you guys ever used the umbrel node, and this is not for the not gonna node people, but if you've ever used the umbrel, then you know that there was a spin-off from the umbrel called Citadel, which I ended up installing. And recently I have found out there is another one called Nirvati. We are going to take a look at that node because I do like to throw in some tech stuff, because at the end of the day, to me, this is part of what makes Bitcoin real, is that people are developing physical hardware. They are investing their time and their money into this network. Anyways, guys, got a hell of a show today. You know the deal. We're going to show some love to the Pleb Underground sponsor. We're going to be right back to dive into all of this fun stuff. Here we go. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. Okay, let's get right into it. Here we go. So look, this is definitely something I've been looking at for years. I have created all kinds of theories that have completely failed about the hash rate, or the relationship between the hash rate and the Bitcoin price, and what point in the cycle we are. All of them didn't work, right? At one point, I believed that the hash rate was a leading indicator of the Bitcoin price. At another point, I believed it was a lagging indicator of the Bitcoin price. None of these things ever worked out. But all we need to know is this, right? The hash rate for Bitcoin keeps climbing to insane levels. There's more hash rate than is actually required to secure the Bitcoin network. And for me, the main takeaway is this. These businesses are spending millions, if not billions of dollars in order to spin up mining facilities as quickly as possible to try to get their hands on as much Bitcoin as soon as possible. So, you know what? This to me is a good indication that we're going in the right direction. I will take it. I'm not going to complain about it. Hash rate at all-time highs, guys. This is the number, right? This is the NGU, right? The hash rate just keeps climbing. Okay, moving on. Guys, probably saw this, right? World's highest IQ record holder, Jung-Hoon Kim, claims Bitcoin is the only hope for the future of the economy. Just remember, you front ran this guy, most likely, okay? Most likely, at least I can say that for myself. I definitely front ran this guy, and he's the smartest guy. He's got the highest IQ. Well, it's also debatable that he has the highest IQ because there has been some pushback on that. But yeah, congratulate yourselves. Give yourself a little pat on the back, right? You actually front ran this guy who's supposedly way smarter than you. Now, diving into this story, though, it's only Bitcoin Magazine where he supposedly said this. All the other sources indicate that he said that Bitcoin is going to 10x from here. So take that for what it's worth. You know, did he actually say, that Bitcoin is the only hope for the future of the economy? There's only one source for that. Either way, I'll take it. I'm a happy camper with that. Okay, so let's keep it going. Let's take a look at this. So this is a little bit strange. Actually, no, you know what? Before we get into that, let's watch this quick clip of Kramer.
The folks, especially the younger people, who say that the future is crypto.
Okay, I know I'm being a pause guy. I'm sorry. Just really listen to what he says though at the end. I don't know. I think he's just confused. I don't think what he said at the end made any sense.
Say crypto's fine.
And how do you value that? What is the sort of process with which you would use?
Well, I'm using it as insurance, and it's an insurance against the $37 trillion that we owe. Of course, we do have a government shutdown, but at least it's not connected to a deadline involving, refinancing for the government, which is really good. The government shutdown is not done at the same time as a possible cataclysm of not paying our bills. But I don't know. I think that crypto is, I'm not valuing it as fun. I'm valuing it as anti what the younger people think is our country's problems. They may know that one.
Right.
But then again, maybe my generation never has to see it, and their generation is going to have to live with what happens.
I mean, he was saying some stuff that made sense there. I just want to point out, though, he's talking about a hedge, right, against the current system. Crypto, and I'm assuming he's really meaning Bitcoin, but the rest of these tokens are in no way, shape, or form a hedge against the current system. They are simply an extension of the current system. It really is only Bitcoin that offers these particular qualities of censorship resistant and state enforced violence resistance, so to speak, right? You can actually go and escape and you can take your Bitcoin with you. So I don't know. I mean, for me, I believe he's just talking about Bitcoin, but I got to tell you, I don't know what the hell he was talking about at the end with the young people thinking they're resisting crypto or anyways, guys, I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but it was definitely entertaining. Some would even say it might even be the nail in the coffin for Bitcoin because he now supports it. And we've all seen that Kramer's he's kind of the counter indicator, right? He's kind of the counter indicator. Anyways, moving on, let's take a look at, this is the gaslighting. This is some weirdness. I don't understand this. Okay, so here we go. So New York State to begin sending out inflation refund checks. The stimulus is meant to provide relief to New Yorkers who have paid increased sales tax due to inflation. So is that everyone? Isn't everyone technically paying more sales tax due to inflation? And I mean, why only pick this one metric? So the other inflation that you've paid, right? The fact that your money doesn't buy as much as it used to, that doesn't matter. What does matter is that you paid increased sales tax due to the inflation. That's what matters. Single people making less than $75K will receive $200 in the mail. That bait. That to me is 100% bait. What the hell is that $200 going to do? It's a drop in the bucket. This does not solve any problems in any way, shape, or form. It's just like a kick in the nuts. Anyways, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just very, very weird. Okay, anyways, that's gaslighting and weird. Moving on, let's take a look. Here we go. The paper Bitcoin summer. Okay, so here we go. Bitcoin Treasuries reported this, right? $2.65 trillion French asset manager Amundi has bought $452.44 million worth of strategy, now holding 1.78 million shares valued at over 571.8 million. Okay, so part of this information is accurate. Part of this information is not. Let's dive into it here. So the actual claim itself is unverifiable. Okay, there is nothing to indicate that this $452 million purchase just took place. Nothing at all, except for a bunch of self-referential tweets. So French asset manager Amundi, through one of its divisions, has purchased over $300 million worth of MicroStrategy stock this year. However, no verifiable evidence confirms that the total investment equals $452 million. While Amundi may have invested in MSTR, the specific figure of $452 million lacks sufficient evidence and remains unverified. Totally not surprised. Totally not surprised. I did do some digging though, and I could see that in terms of the top holders for MSTR, right? You could see that Amundi does actually have that total number, right? They do have this 1.7 million shares or 1.78 million shares of MSTR, and it is currently worth $551 million. However, there is absolutely no verifiable source that they just recently got $452 million worth of MSTR shares. So yeah, good times, good times. Okay, moving on. We got some more paper Bitcoin summer. That's right. It never ends, right? We're already like what? We're almost in October. It's almost Halloween, and it's still paper Bitcoin summer. So, Millennium Capital aims to raise $58.5 million for their Bitcoin treasury. Okay. So this is going to be this should be interesting, but it also kind of private companies don't have to divulge their numbers, so that's kind of an interesting piece to this. Positioning itself as Europe's first private model with funds fully allocated to BTC assets. Now, for anybody that has watched this channel for any length of time, you know that I believe it sounds crazy, but businesses actually need to have operating income. They actually do need to have, money coming in, possibly even some free cash flow. So, and again, I don't know about this business's other businesses. I don't know about their cash flows, but I am very curious to see what happens because Bitcoin is not an income producing asset. So, should be interesting to see how that actually works out. All right, moving on. Let's take a look. Okay, so this has been getting floated around, right? The SEC chair Paul Atkins, right, making these positive comments. Let's take a listen.
I believe marks a turning point in the history of American financial markets. For too long, the SEC and the CFTC have operated in parallel lanes, too often in conflict with each other, leaving the American public to bear the costs of duplication, delay, and uncertainty. That era is behind us. We are charting a new course, one that will solidify America's position as the world's financial leader.
That was actually yesterday. Yeah, today's the 30th. So that was yesterday, the 29th. Is that really an update? It kind of just sounds to me like they keep saying the same thing over and over again. Also, it's going to sound terrible, but I have yet to see the government, any government really, do anything for its constituents. Oftentimes, from what we've seen, from what we've experienced, is that there's a bunch of very colorful language that makes us, the peons, believe that things are going to get better for us. But when the government streamlines things like this, when they do stuff like this is not about you and me. This is about them. This is about their oversight. This is about facilitating things on their end. Now, of course, I'm not saying that we shouldn't see any kind of government inefficiencies or anything like that. Of course, the government should get more efficient. But just make no mistake, right? They're not becoming more efficient because of you, right? They're not becoming more efficient for you, right? For me, like that. That's not what's happening. I am curious to see though what this actually means, and I mean, does this mean anything really for Bitcoin? I don't think so. I don't think this has anything to do with Bitcoin. But all of the crypto outlets and the Bitcoin news, keep thinking that or keep pretending that this is going to be huge for us, I guess, right? Huge for us. All right, moving on to the SBR. That's right. Statewide adoption may be coming to a state near you. Is Massachusetts about to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve? Key hearing set for October 7th. The proposal seeks to authorize the state to acquire and hold Bitcoin as part of its reserves. It's pretty good. It's pretty good that they're specifically saying Bitcoin and not crypto. If advanced, Massachusetts would become the first Democratic-led deep blue state to seriously consider building a Bitcoin reserve. Now, look, I gotta say that I'd love to see Bitcoin not be a partisan issue. I'd love to see Bitcoin just be embraced by anybody that desires to have monetary freedom, that decides to store their value. Like, this is the fact that Bitcoin gets made into a partisan issue. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. But of course, right, Bitcoin is owned by no one, but is kind of owned by anyone that actually holds their private keys, and so therefore, hey, there's no representatives for Bitcoin. So politicians are going to do whatever politicians are going to do. It's no surprise. I am happy to see, though, that Massachusetts is specifically going in the direction of Bitcoin, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the difference between the states that actually do adopt a crypto reserve versus the states that adopt a Bitcoin only reserve. Very curious to see what happens. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Okay, we're going to take a look at this new node, this Nirvati node, right? I think that's what it's called. Is it called Nirvati? Did I get it right? Get Nirvati. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I saw this. This was a post yesterday from CoinJoined Chris. And let's take a look at what this new interface is like. Yeah, pretty nice. Hey, welcome, Chris. Here's the apps. All right, good job. Good job. Nirvati is essentially, it is, from what Chris explained to me, it is the successor of Citadel. So if you try to go to Citadel's website, you'll notice that even though the URL is still up, all of the resources now point to Nirvati. And if you give me a second here, I will pull up their website and we're going to take a look at this thing. Yeah, there we go. So essentially, it is the Citadel node, and of course, it has all the stuff that you've come to love from these nodes. You know, they've got the self-hosted apps. You can access it anywhere. Yeah, all the good stuff. So the piece, though, that I wanted to focus on, though, with this is, I just wanted to bring it back to the fact that Start9 is actually the company. You got to give Matt Hill credit for this and his development team. They were the first ones to really make this type of marketplace app store within the node. And granted, I understand, from the people who want to have a more granular experience, command line experience, all of that good stuff. That this essentially creates a UX layer between you and the ability to run command lines and install stuff manually like that. That's fine. But the reality is that the average person that doesn't care to sit there and just tinker around with something that they think isn't working. The average person really just wants to be able to have something plug and play, right? They want to have a toaster. I know it sounds crazy, but this is something that I can honestly say that I saw happen time and time again in support, is that the customer, for the most part, they just want it to be a toaster. They want to plug it in. They want to press some buttons. They want it to work. And as much as people hate that, as much as, we talk about the self-sovereignty, the personal freedom, and you need to understand how to do all of these different things, the reality is that the average person is not going to do those things. The average person just simply wants to not feel like an idiot when they plug their device in, and they want it to do what they think it's going to do. So hats off to these guys at Nirvati. Hats off for putting together this excellent little node. I do have a Raspberry Pi 4 left over. I upgraded to a Raspberry Pi 5 on my node because unfortunately it did die like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I upgraded that to a Raspberry Pi 5. And now on my old 4, I am most likely going to try out this Nirvati. So cool stuff. I'm glad you guys took over the project, and I'll definitely be watching out for it. But guys, this is going to wrap up. That's right. Wraps up today's episode. So don't forget to check us out. Audio only platforms, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. If you want to donate to the show, check us out on fountain.fm. And guys, I'm going to be giving Giving you a reminder that the week of October 13th to the 16th, Ulrich and I will be at TabConf. We will be live at TabConf. We're going to be getting, there's a whole bunch of devs there that are going to be showing off all these different projects. We are going to get them on the show live. We're going to do question and answer, all kinds of fun stuff. From what I understood, TC, right? Mr. Time Chain Calendar is also going to be there. So hopefully he is going to join us as well. That does it for us, guys. Does it for us for today. I will catch you tomorrow. Have a good one.